and Randy Potts and Randy Stroud, all from the CISO XC group here for the cyber debates. So give it a little bit of time to just switch around the online sessions, and I think you'll be really excited to see how this plays out. We have we had 5 debates in mind. 4 of them are being curated by Scott and Mike and Robert, their team, and one of them we had planned for a debate, but we will, eventually turned out that we'll have a discussion about crypto and blockchain. So the debate style, I think, gives you a good flavor of both sides of the story, and this will be one of the first ones. Okay. All right, I think the stream's live. You're ready to come up. Scott and Randy, Scott and Scott. Ready whenever you are. Okay. And we promise we're going to shut down the mic when Scott's on the stage. Oh. Hey, good. So the stage is yours.
That's not loud. Hi, everybody. Welcome to San Antonio if you're not from San Antonio. If you are, in fact, from San Antonio, thanks for your hospitality. We're excited to be here. Let's see. Hey, the slides are up. Fantastic. My name is Scott Schindler, and I am, as you can see on the slides up there, nickname is Jester, because pretty much everything comes across as a joke to me, and we're going to have a little bit of fun now. So hoping to wake you up, get you out of your seats. Pay attention to our group up on here stage, because we're going to do a cyber fight club. We're going to have 2 of our executives debate some topics, not knowledge transfer, wisdom, and you're going to tell them if they're right or wrong, and you're going to vote at the end who gave you the most value. So Project Synthesis, you see up at the top there, is a organization that I started to help event companies because I go to a lot of events as a CISO. There's a lot of Security 101 transfers. Not a big fan of the Security 101 conversations anymore. I'm not sure if you guys have been to a few conferences and you hear a panel and they talk and say the things you've known for 20 years and you don't really get anything out of it except for the chicken sandwich. But we're going to try to do something a little bit more than that. Not that by the way, that last group was different. I don't know if you know those 3 guys that were on stage in that last panel. Those guys are going to do more for cybersecurity in the next 10 years than the rest of us combined. I don't know if you realize that, but that is something worth knowing. So, Project Synthesis is about taking the wisdom and experience from the people that are debating on stage and keeping it. So when we're done with this, we actually turn this into a white paper, hopefully with a little comedy to keep you interested in there. And then we turn those white papers into magazines when we get enough of them, and we turn those magazines into books, because we're tired of all of the wisdom that's shared at these events being left on the floor like ticker tape at a New York parade. So we've talked about everything now. I do want to mention, I got a little name tag here, CISO XC. Randy, one of our contestants here today on this fight, is one of the co-founders of CISO XC. You're going to meet another one of the co-founders today or tomorrow in one of the other fights. CISO XC is an event organization. We're out of Dallas, the national lead of parking lots, if you've been there. So CISO XC is really about bringing executives together and sharing wisdom, doing something a little more interesting. And then they give a lot of that money, a lot of that funding back to the community, nonprofits, and the college I teach at, Collin College. We get a lot of scholarship money from CISO XC. So we're helping them do just that. So I'm going to start now. I'm going to show you the screen here. We're going to introduce the people that are in this debate. We're going to have a little fun, a little comedy. And I'm going to start right there with Mr. Scott DeLuke. Scott DeLuke is here from Abnormal Security. That's a great name for a company. I think it's a great name for Scott once you meet him. Scott is a character. He has some personality, and I think he's going to share it with you today. Abnormal Security is all about fixing your email security problems. I know that none of you have phishing or spam problems, but if you know anybody that does, You're probably going to want to talk to Scott and his team after the show. He dressed up for you, so he should be easy to find. So Scott, before I turn it over to Scott, I'm going to introduce two other gentlemen. Randy Stroud and Randy Potts are on the stage, both professional cybersecurity leaders, CISOs as well. I know at least Pottsy there has a good sense of humor. We're going to test out Randy Stroud today. He's a newbie to our shows. Randy Potts has run the shows with us before, and we've got some nicknames for everybody. So we got Rowdy Randy Potts. Wait, it's Rowdy Randy Stroud. I've already screwed it up. Rowdy Randy Stroud. It's real-time Randy Potts because he works at real-time resolution. Woo! I feel you in it. I feel your energy. Thank you, sir. You're so welcome. All right, and I'm going to turn it over. Scott is going to talk about a challenge that you guys are facing that his company probably has something to do with solving because everybody wants our money, right?
Absolutely.
And then these guys are going to tell you how to do that from a leadership perspective, and you're going to vote. Here we go. Scott, take it away.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you guys, and welcome to Fight Night. This is something I've always wanted to do my entire life. Let's get ready to Randy. All right, let's put the phones down. Let's close the laptops. Let's get engaged, guys. This is supposed to be fun. All right, what we're going to be talking about today is emerging technologies. They are changing the game that we are doing everything inside of our infrastructure. However, they do not necessarily need to change all the skill sets that are required to run our infrastructures. Both past and future skill sets are absolutely imperative to today and moving into tomorrow. With solutions like abnormal security, we could take email kind of out of the equation for you, send you back to 2005. Using an API-based approach, we can automatically model the story of you using your specific data set to understand normal, healthy communication and protect you from all layers of attacks over the email spectrum, from email account compromise, vendor account compromise, BEC, and on and on. Love to talk to you about it later, but right now, let's make it about Randy and Randy. Woo, woo. All right, so we're gonna start out with you, Mr. Potts. So, being a CISO, you were probably absolutely inundated every day with promises of a better tomorrow, automation, orchestration, blah, 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 blah. When you look at these types of things, how do you relate to these types of inundations from these newer emerging threats? And what do you think about when you're considering some of these newer technologies?
You know, I really think about it like statistics in baseball. The statistics might be important, but you still just have to have that gut feeling as well. You still need to have some of those basic disciplines. And without those basic disciplines, the technology isn't going to save you. So all the AI and ML in the world is great, but if I don't have the right people and the right process in place, then it's not worth anything to me.
Excellent. So basically what I heard, Randy, just to repeat you, is that you bat about 110 and you have no future idea about what you want to do with your infrastructure. Now, I want to send the same question over here to Randy. You know, you're inundated as well with all these emerging technologies. And while he wants to live in the Stone Age, how about yourself, my friend? How do you see these new approaches?
I look at every opportunity as a way to be able to improve the overall processes, to be able to provide a new alternative that's faster, better, cheaper. So I look at technology as an opportunity to change and improve how we do things every year. And I'm always looking for that next best solution. And if I can find it, then I'm going to implement it the following year, regardless of the partnership I have. The goal is to keep my vendors on their toes. And if they know that there's someone else that's, looking for their spot, they're going to deliver a service that's better for them.
Wait a minute. What's the debate? You sound like you're pro buying abnormal, and he sounds like he's pro buying abnormal. I want to know what the debate is.
Well, I think the key thing is that, my business is going to actually win because he's going to be slow and I'm going to be able to overtake him, provide a better, lower cost for my ultimate customers, where he's going to be, higher price and slow and
The real truth of the matter is I want to know how to use my tools. And Rowdy Randy over here doesn't really care if he knows how to use the tool or not. He just wants the shiny new object.
You just do the budgeting. He actually knows what he's doing.
I think the key is that if I continue to improve, my actual cost base goes lower. So the things I don't have money for, I'll have money to do on the things that I know that I don't currently do that we need to implement. So I think for me, I'm always looking for how am I going to take that current cost base, but improve it.
Scott, challenge these guys. What's going on?
Absolutely. Randy, you know, one thing that you brought up is that you like to test new technologies. Well, that does one other thing. It also tests the team that you have available to you. When you're looking at the team that supports your organization, does this make you go outside of the box of the people you already have, looking at maybe, you know, different generations or working with different types of people, data scientists, et cetera, unlike Mr. Progressive over here?
I think, you know, I used to work for a very large organization, and in that organization, we had one team that was developers and other people that were operations people. But I've changed my style. So my style now is I find the people who operate and I give them a percentage of their time to actually look at improvements. So no one best to understand where to find and make improvements is the people that actually run the process. So it's just a new way of looking at things. So I'm always focused on constant improvement.
I love that. I love that. Constant growth, constant improvement, but sticking to the old school way of doing things, kind of keeping to your guns. It's worked for 20, 30 years, so that's awesome. You know, when you ever decide to plug in something minutely, not 1995, like how are you going to adapt your team to understand how to use that tool? What is your method, Randy?
So the real issue isn't about using old things. It's just if I am going to implement a tool, I need to make sure I know how to use it. So it's really, you know, I really think about those three pillars: people, process, technology. And if my technology is outpacing my people and my process, you know, I love the CEO of DeLorean was here, right? And that's what we're talking about. Hey, there's no government, there's no regulation for all this cool new tech we have. And so I see that same problem in my organization. I'm going to spend money on top of money with consultants trying to figure out how to actually best use these tools, because really, I don't have the process and the people in place to take full advantage of the tool.
Isn't that how we do it, though? Don't we just buy stuff? We have all the CapEx in the world, right? We can go buy tools, but our revenue officers and stuff, they're like, oh, we can't spend any money on people because people are expensive, not the $300,000 tool.
That is absolutely why I want my people sharp and focused on the tools they know how to use and not wasting their time chasing new technology.
Interesting. How do you take that, Randy? You know, he's gonna use his resources in the right way, and you're expanding them out. What are the disadvantages or advantages you see of doing that for your team?
Well, I think for me, you know, you could either, you know, if you go back in the old way of doing things, we were always focused on people, process, and tools, but we were also building our tools in our data centers. If we find and we leverage partners that actually do a lot of the engineering for the tools, we can focus on what we need to do best with our people and process, focus on the things that are unique to our company, and then the things that aren't unique about running a technology process to help automate, we can give that to our partners, right? So it's not something that we currently have to spend a lot of time retooling our people because they need to be the experts in the part of the process that is unique to the company. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely makes sense. You know, and you brought up something interesting, was automation. You know, we always talk about automation, orchestration, integration, and that's something that the API is bringing across all spaces. Now, Randy, if I could tell you that there is emerging technology out there that even a caveman could do it, would that be something that would maybe push you to the edge to say, hey, my people don't need to learn a new skill set. In fact, all these people I have running this email platform or this EDR platform or whatever we're talking about in this emerging tech, if it was a hands-off approach that automated that task so they could move on to those other things inside your infrastructure, would that open your mind, sir?
So absolutely, right? I think about everyone talking about as we introduce automation, we're going to lose jobs, right? And they talk about, well, there's also nobody doing horseshoes anymore. Although the horse farm that I take my daughter to has a horseshoe guy. So they're still out there and they actually make good money. It's amazing. So, but no, I'm with you. I think as the technology gets there and it matures and you get good, healthy automation in, then yes, you're freeing up those people, right? That's what I'm all about, is how can I give more time back to my people? So if the automation helps my team have more time, I am 110% on board.
Love that. Love that. What about you, Randy? You know, as we move forward in these automation tool sets, are you seeing it as a reduction of workforce, which a lot of people tend to see emerging technologies, or do you see it as an evolution of your workforce and the capability to still do the things that they really excel at? May it be infrastructure, may it be in the cloud today, it's still a CPU and RAM and everything else. Not much has changed, except for now they tell me when I put in the wrong cider range. What do you think?
I think as a CISO, you've got to focus in on what do we need to do for the business, right? They expect us to help them manage risk and manage compliance and that type of thing. So I've got to be focused in those areas, and also is the aspects associated with technology that are really technical. I need to leverage my partners for that, right? And then let them complement my team so that I focus on the things that I need to have the experts in the business, in my business, are going to be, my personnel will be focused on being the best risk managers and the people that can actually help the business understand how to manage their risk. When it comes to the technology piece, I'm going to partner with my partners. The key is making sure that I also hold the if you want to call it the knowledge base for the architecture that makes all those vendors work seamlessly, so that I know how to plug and play them. And again, you don't deliver, the fastest, best, cheapest technology. I'm pulling you out next year. I'm gonna plug somebody else in, but it should be pretty seamless. It should be very easy, so that I can stay on top of the technology, and I can, in fact, help my team be the best risk managers they can be.
I bet a lot of people in the crowd, though, Randy, have these point solutions, have these companies that are their partners. But those partners take that, they're really good at signing that contract. They're timely on that contract piece. But after that, sometimes they disappear. They do the security and they tell you they're doing the security. They don't give you a lot of visibility. They don't they're not doing regular meetings with you. So I got an EDR point solution, and I've got a DLP point solution, and I've got a email security point solution. And now I have to manage like 10 different teams. How do you can't scale that way. At least I don't feel as I can scale that way. How do you keep control of all of those partners?
I think the key is that you have to manage through contract, right? You have to manage, it starts at the contract. You have to establish your service level agreements. You have to have the right metrics. You have to have the vendor that actually agrees with that. And you have to establish the time frame of how you measure your service.
What's a metric? Is that a new term?
So, yeah, in our particular industry, it is. But really truly gathering the information so that you can manage and be able to demonstrate back to the business how you've been improving your risk posture. And if your vendors aren't necessarily giving, many times they're not giving you the right types of reports, but they can give you the data. You just have to know how to take the data and interpret it.
Rowdy Randy's sounding pretty good over here. You want to give Mr. Potts there one more chance to win this debate?
Yeah, I do. So, Mr. Potts, when I'm thinking about, how you're building things and how you're attempting to move forward, we're in an interesting time right now. Economy is a little bit interesting, right? And we're kind of balancing between CapEx and OpEx and figuring out what's right. It seems like, based on the way you're standing, you almost seem a little bit more better positioned financially maybe than others, because you can always keep that server running a little bit longer, maybe that DAG running a little bit longer, storage, we can push it another year, right? So those skill sets are going to actually pay off. But again, let me ask you this, something that's going to come with that reduction in economy is also going to be your employees. What are you going to do when you have 5 employees turn to 4, turn to 3, and have to handle it the old way?
So I would say that's the number one challenge, right? Is people just keep getting more scarce, which makes them more expensive and harder to find. And so that's where, honestly, again, I go back to the efficiency, making sure that the people I do have are the most effective with their tools. So a good example of this, the team I inherited was almost 8 people. I'm down to 3 now. So exactly what you're talking about. And at the core of that is a guy who got laid off by Verizon's security team, was there for 25 years. That one guy is more effective than the 5 people that I lost easily. And so that's really where I see it is concentrating your human capital in very highly effective resources. And part of that is making sure that they know their tools and they know the process and everything's as effective as possible, because a minute of your person's time, right, where, hey, it used to be expendable, it was cheap. Now that minute is so much more valuable. So I need to be so much more effective with it.
You know, I think that's a pretty good answer, but you know what's going to happen, Randy? That guy's going to get hit by a bus.
That was my response. That's exactly what I thought. They probably, who thought bus theory? Who in the room thought Randy's going to have this really good guy and he's going to get hit by a bus? The proverbial bus that we always speak of. That was my problem. So you've got two guys here, Scott. You've got a guy who wants you to be his partner and another guy that might use your products, but they're going to do it internally. How does Abnormal support both those companies?
Absolutely, and that's kind of the exciting thing about these emerging technologies. Not just Abnormal. I don't want to make this specifically only about us. There are a lot of emerging technologies that are offering pure automation, no rules, no configuration, to simplify your infrastructures, move you away from the things that you're managing day in and day out, and move you into the other things so you can then again focus on infrastructure like Mr. Randy Potts over here, and focus on emerging technologies and keep the same skill sets that you have available to you. Your rock star can be your rock star. Your progressive individuals can absolutely work there as well. So what I would say is it's kind of a tie here. We got Nolan Ryan over here pitching a no-hitter, and we got Aaron Judge over here just knocking out another home run. So I would say, what do you think, Scott?
I think the defendants should stand up. Let's see what we got. Audience, Rowdy Randy Stroud here believes that you should have all the partners you need, point solutions all over the place maybe, and you can still get the job done. Randy Potts over here believes that you can have a talented team, large or small, and you can do it all in-house and just buy the tool. Who's right? Randy Potts?
It's all about you guys, the individual contributors.
Show of hands, who's right?
Woo! Let's go. There we go. Individual contributors. There you guys are. You're worth every penny.
And Rowdy Randy Stroud, who's right? Partners, not talent.
He wants to automate you away.
Oh, man. What do you think, Scott? Who won?
Woo! You know what? I think it's an absolute tie. I think that no matter how you want to run your infrastructure today, you're right. You are right for your organization, and you're building the blocks of tomorrow. So no matter where you are in your journey or your ecosystem or your compliances or how you need to support, you should look into some of these emerging technologies because they're moving with you. They're listening to the mistakes of the past, and they're correcting them moving forward. So I just want to thank you guys for your time today. I hope you enjoyed Fight Night, and come back when we're ready to rumble again.
If like me, you don't like ties, I think we could have a twerk off. Is this the appropriate venue for a twerk off, Val? Oh, man. That's awesome. Guys, by the way, there's supposed to be one of our white papers in front of you right now so you can see what we're building out of this show. The Office Depot in San Antonio and I had a dispute of what the word copy of a magazine means. They are thousands of pages of magazines, but they are not connected together. So they are working right now on making copies of magazines for you. If you're coming back tomorrow, there will be copies of our white papers at the show for you to see what we're going to build out of this. A month from now, we're going to have 4 of these fights this week. We're going to put those things into another magazine, and we're going to send you a digital copy of all of the wisdom that you heard on stage today. If you can't wait until then, please go out to CISO XC. Oh, he took it down. He took down the logo. Go out to CISOXC.com and support these guys and their event company. Come to our events in Dallas. Come to our events in Oklahoma City. Come to our events in Houston, Phoenix, across the country. Happy to have you there. Thanks so much for your time today. See you in a few. Bye, everybody. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.